All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into the world of GPT-4o. That AI everyone's been talking about. We've got our hands on OpenAI's brand new system card, and let me tell you, it is not just hype. This is next level stuff. So get ready to explore what makes this thing tick, what it can actually do, and why you should even care. We'll break it all down, no jargon, just the good stuff.
Well, what's really interesting about GPT-4o is it's not just about words anymore. It's what they're calling an omni model, meaning it can handle text, audio, images, and video. It's like having this superpowered brain that can understand and even create all these different types of content.
Wait, hold on. So are you saying I could be talking to my computer and it could make a video based on our conversation? That's like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Exactly. And it does all this crazy stuff at lightning speed. Think about how fast you can respond to someone in a conversation. GPT-4o can process audio and respond just as quickly. Plus, it's actually way faster and cheaper to run than the older models, which means it's more accessible for developers and researchers out there.
Okay, that is seriously impressive. But how does it even learn to do all of that? Do they download the entire internet into its brain or something?
Well, not the entire internet, but they did train GPT-4o on a massive amount of data. Think publicly available info, code, math, tons of images, audio, video. It's like they're feeding the AI this giant buffet of information from all over the world.
Whoa. So it's like giving it a crash course in everything humans have ever created. No wonder it's so smart.
Yeah, that's the idea. And that diversity in the data is really important, like exposing a child to different cultures, languages, ideas. It helps the AI develop a more well-rounded understanding of the world and how things actually work.
Okay, I get it. That makes sense. But with all this power, wouldn't you worry about things, getting out of hand? What's stopping this thing from going rogue and creating chaos?
That's definitely a valid concern, and OpenAI seems to be taking safety pretty seriously. One big thing they're doing is filtering out harmful content from the data it learns from. Things like, hate speech and inappropriate images.
Right. You wouldn't want the AI learning the wrong things, for sure. But what about things like privacy? I mean, this AI is learning from real-world data, right?
You're right to point that out. They actually have a system in place where people can opt to keep their images out of the training data. It's a way of respecting those privacy concerns and giving people more control over their digital footprint. They're also constantly testing and monitoring the AI.
Testing and monitoring. Do they have AI police watching its every move?
Well, not exactly police. But they do have these things called red teams, basically groups of experts from all over the world. They speak over 45 different languages. And their job is to try and find weaknesses or potential risks in the AI.
Whoa, so it's like a constant game of cat and mouse. The AI learns, the red teams try to break it, and then OpenAI fixes the issues.
Exactly. They're really trying to make sure GPT-4o is safe and reliable. But even with all these safety measures, it's important to remember that it's not some magical genie. It can't just do anything.
Right, so it's not like I can ask it to write me a hit song and win me a Grammy. Right.
Well, it might give you some creative inspiration, but it can't just churn out copyrighted music. That's actually one of the limitations OpenAI has intentionally built in.
Really? Wait, so they're purposely limiting what it can do. Why would they do that?
It's all about being responsible. They're setting boundaries to prevent things like copyright infringement or even the creation of harmful content, like, giving someone a powerful tool, but also giving them safety guidelines to make sure they use it responsibly.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's powerful, but it has some rules to follow. Yeah. But are there other things it can't do? Can it learn to speak every language perfectly?
Well, that's a good question. It's been trained on a lot of different languages, but it's not perfect in all of them. For example, its accent might sound a little off in non-English languages. Mm-hmm. And it can also be fooled by tricky information.
Oh, really? Like how?
Well, if you keep telling it something that's false, it might start to believe it and then generate incorrect info. It's a bit like, how humans can be susceptible to misinformation.
So even though it's this super advanced AI, it still has some flaws and quirks. It's almost human in a way.
That's a really interesting observation, and it raises a lot of questions about the future of AI and how it will interact with us on a deeper level.
Hold that thought. We're just getting started. This is only part one of our deep dive. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Welcome back, everyone. Now, I'm dying to see this GPT-4o in action. The system card mentions some pretty mind-blowing examples of what it can do in the real world. Like it can actually help with cutting-edge scientific research, right?
Absolutely. There was this one example that really caught my eye. It involved a quantum physics experiment. One of the Red team members, who, by the way, happened to be a quantum physics expert, was just blown away by how well GPT-4o could understand these complex concepts and even discuss them. They said it was like having this super intelligent brainstorming partner.
Whoa, so it's not just spitting out information. It's actually helping scientists think through problems and come up with new ideas.
That's right. And what's even more impressive is that it can understand visuals, too. You know those super complicated diagrams and figures you see in scientific papers? GPT-4o can actually make sense of those, too.
Hold on, wait. How can an AI understand a diagram? I mean, I barely understand those things half the time.
Well, remember how we talked about GPT-4o being an omni model? It can process both text and images, so it can actually connect the words in a research paper with the visual info in the diagrams. Like having a scientist who can see the whole picture, literally.
That is a total game changer. Imagine how much time researchers could save if they had an AI that could sift through all those papers and pull out those key insights from both the text and the diagrams.
Exactly. And this ability to understand visual information isn't just limited to science either. Think about how much we communicate visually in everyday life, with photos, videos, even emojis.
Wait, are you telling me this AI can understand emojis? Isn't that taking things a bit too far?
Haha, it might sound strange, but think about it. Emojis have basically become a language of their own, a way of expressing emotions, adding nuance to our digital conversations. GPT-4o can analyze patterns in how people use emojis and start to understand the subtle meanings behind them.
So it's like the AI is learning to read between the lines, even when there are no lines.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can understand our emotions like that, doesn't that make it seem more human? Like, could we start forming emotional attachments to these AI systems?
That's a really interesting question. And it's something that researchers are definitely starting to explore, as AI gets more sophisticated. And it can interact with us in ways that feel more natural, more human-like. It's only natural to wonder about those emotional connections we might form.
Yeah, it's kind of blurring the lines between like a tool and a companion, On one hand, it's cool to think about having an AI that understands you on that level. But on the other hand, it makes you wonder if we're getting a little too reliant on technology for emotional support.
It's definitely a delicate balance. It's important to remember that AI, even a super advanced AI like GPT-4o, is not a replacement for human connection. We still need to nurture our relationships with real people and find healthy ways to manage our own emotions.
But couldn't this type of AI also be used to manipulate people's emotions? Like it can understand how we feel. Couldn't it also be used to exploit those feelings? Like with targeted advertising, or even like political propaganda.
Those are definitely valid concerns, and they highlight the importance of having those ethical guidelines and safeguards in place. OpenAI is very aware of these issues, and they're actively working to prevent that kind of misuse.
So it's this powerful tool with amazing potential, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. It's kind of like we're standing at a crossroads.
Yeah.
And we need to choose the right path,
Exactly. We need to have these open and honest conversations about how we want to use this technology, what kind of future we want to create with it. And that's what makes these deep dives so important. The more we understand about AI, its capabilities and its limitations, the better equipped we'll be to make those informed decisions about its role in our lives.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, from quantum physics to emojis. But we're not done yet. There's still more to explore. Stick around for part 3. We'll be looking at how GPT-4o is breaking down language barriers and tackling some of those ethical questions head on. You won't want to miss it. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. So we've been talking about all the cool things GPT-4o can do, but now I kind of want to shift gears a little and talk about something I think is really important, how this AI is impacting the world of languages.
You're right to highlight that. One of the most exciting things about GPT-4o is its potential to really break down those language barriers. The system card actually goes into some pretty interesting research that OpenAI did, focusing on 5 African languages: Amharic, Hausa, Northern Sotho, Swahili, and Yoruba.
That's awesome. I mean, so often AI development feels like it just revolves around English and a few other major languages. It's great to see them actually putting effort into languages that are often overlooked.
Exactly. And they didn't just, translate existing tests or anything. They actually worked with language experts to develop a whole new benchmark called Uhura Evil. It was specifically designed to assess reading comprehension in these African languages.
Okay, I'm no AI expert, but that sounds like they really went above and beyond. So what were the results like?
Well, the results were really impressive. GPT-4o showed major improvements over previous models. For example, there's this test called ARC Easy. It measures common sense reasoning. In Hausa, GPT-4o's accuracy jumped from something like 6% with the older model to over 70%.
Wow, that's a huge leap. So it's really starting to understand these languages in a much deeper way.
Yeah, and that just opens up so many possibilities, right? Imagine being able to access information, education, even opportunities online in your native language, even if it's not, one of the dominant languages on the internet.
It's like finally having a voice, being able to fully participate in the digital world. That's powerful stuff.
Absolutely. And it highlights the importance of, inclusive AI development, making sure these technologies benefit people from all linguistic backgrounds. Of course, there's still work to be done. The system card acknowledges that there's a gap in performance between English and these underrepresented languages.
So it's not a perfect solution, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Exactly. And it shows what's possible when we prioritize diversity and inclusivity in AI. It's not just about, closing the performance gap. It's about making sure that these AI systems are culturally sensitive, that they reflect the richness of different languages and dialects.
That's a really great point. As we develop these incredible AI tools, we need to be mindful of the impact they have on different cultures and communities.
Absolutely. It's about ensuring that AI empowers everyone, regardless of their language or background.
This whole deep dive has been it's been mind-blowing, honestly. We've gone from the technical nitty-gritty to these broader impacts on society and culture. It's clear that GPT-4o is a total game changer, and it's both exciting and, a little bit daunting to think about what the future holds.
Yeah, I agree. We're definitely at this pivotal moment in AI development, and it's just so crucial that we have these conversations, that we consider the implications, and that we work together to shape a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into GPT-4o. We've covered a lot, but honestly, we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore out there, and we encourage you to do just that. Check out the resources we've mentioned, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep the conversation going. The future of AI is in our hands.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.